Okay, we're inside my messy room, but I'm just doing this for mainly for Chantal, but any of the new guys on our team. We're going to be talking about electricity pricing. Electricity pricing is a three-part deal. You've got the charges levied by the retail entity, which we call retail electric provider, or a REP, R-E-P. You see that there on the right-hand side. Okay, those are companies like Stream Energy, TXU, Reliant, all the regular names that you hear out there. You have taxes and regulatory fees, okay? You've got city tax, state tax, and something called the gross receipts reimbursement fee, which you'll see on every electricity bill, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then you have charges levied by the TDSP or TDU. TDSP stands for Transmission and Delivery Service Provider, okay? So when you talk about transmission and delivery of electricity, you're talking about the poles and the wires that surround your neighborhood and the method by which electricity reaches your home. Transmission and Delivery Utility Company, that's a TDU there. These are companies like Oncor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In the Houston area, this is a company called CenterPoint, okay? And their fees are based upon a base fee, okay, a flat rate fee that they charge for every account. And then their fees accumulate also based on usage, which is charged in cents per kilowatt. Okay, and it's the same pricing structure for the retail portion of your bill. This is the charges that Stream Energy or TXU or any other competitor will charge you for your electricity service. Most retail electric providers also have a base fee, or some people call it a minimum usage fee. And they also charge you a fee based on your usage in cents per kilowatt hour. And also sometimes you have miscellaneous fees. We're finding out fees like a green energy fee or things like that. Okay. So when you are going to do a price comparison between two companies to see, a cost analysis to see if you can save somebody money, here's what we're gonna break this down. The Oncor or the TDSP charges, they are charged to every customer that is available for deregulated energy, okay? If a person is available or eligible to use a deregulated energy company, they are charged these TDSP charges. They are passed through. In Texas, okay, the billing entity is the retail provider. These are the people that send the bills. Okay. Now, Oncor, or the Transmission Delivery Utility Company in that area, they're also going to charge fees, but they are billed by the retail electric provider as what we call pass-throughs. Okay? They are simply passed through from the utility company. They're passed through. The retail provider passes those through along to the customer. Okay? So these charges for for Oncor, this is, I think, a $6.34 base fee every month, whether you use 100 or 1,000 kilowatts of usage. And then they charge about a 3 cent per kilowatt usage fee. So those fees are going to be the same whether you're with TXU or whether you're with Stream Energy. Okay? So when considering savings, you're not going to consider the TDSP pass-through charges. Those are going to be the same because they are simply passed through and they apply to every retail customer. The tax and the regulatory fees are obviously going to be the same. Now, you'll see later on, the fact of the matter is that our prices are going to be cheaper So overall, the bill is going to be smaller, and thus the taxes actually would be less. Okay? So when you talk about savings, we save them not only on our charges, but obviously then that makes their taxes lower because they're being taxed on smaller amounts. But we don't consider that in a cost comparison, okay? Also, you have the gross receipts reimbursement. This is a regulatory fee that you can look it up, and you get a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of legalese. And the best I can make of it, it is a tax on a tax. It's a tax that the State Public Utilities Commission levies on entities like retail electric providers that collect money. I don't understand it all, but that's the easiest way to explain the part of it that I do understand, okay? The gross receipts reimbursement is also based on a percentage of your bill. So technically that fee will also be smaller with our smaller retail fees. But that fee is not considered part of the cost analysis. So you got the transmission and delivery charges that are going to be the same for every deregulated customer. And you've got the tax and the regulatory portion of the bill, which is going to be the same, or we may save them, but we're not going to consider that in a cost analysis. So, those are the three elements. What we want to compare when doing a cost analysis is our retail charges to their retail charges. And that's going to be our base fee, which for Stream Energy is $9.95 for usage below 700 kilowatts. Between 700 and 999, that's $4.95. And for usage above 1,000 kilowatts, we have no fee, no base fee. Then our usage that is in cents per kilowatts hour, and we do not have any miscellaneous fees. Now, if you're doing a price comparison, you may have miscellaneous fees that you have to put in to your calculations to get a good cost comparison. Okay, so let's go over here. What you're looking at is called an electricity facts label for Stream Energy. You can see there in the upper left-hand portion or the upper middle of the screen. Public Utilities Commission of Texas, license number 10104. What this has done is it has simply added up. It's given a sample bill. It has added up the transmission and delivery charges and the retail charges. And you can see it here in this language. It says energy charge, that's what Stream Energy is charging, 5.3 cents per kilowatt hour. Encore kilowatt charge is 2.896 cents per kilowatt hour, and an Encore monthly charge of $6.48. So look at this. This is what we need to know. It says the price you pay each month will consist of the energy charge, a minimum usage fee if applicable, and Encore delivery charges. Encore delivery charges include all recurring charges from Encore without markup by Stream Energy. They are passed through. Okay. This average price disclosure is an example based on sample usage levels. Your average price for electricity will depend on your usage. A minimum usage charge of $9.95 applies in billing months where monthly usage is 699 kilowatts or less. A $4.95 charge where usage is between 700 and 999 kilowatt hours. The average price per kilowatt hour does not include state and local sales taxes, reimbursement for the state miscellaneous gross receipts tax. Okay, that's that gross receipts reimbursement line that we talked about right there. Okay, so it doesn't include that. Or non-recurring charges. This means irregular charges for, for illustration purposes only, special meter read or testing fees, collection fees, or disconnect and reconnect fees, okay? So if the retail entity had to charge you, a $25 disconnection and a $40 reconnection fee in that month because you didn't pay your bill and you had a service interruption that month, they're not going to average that into this average price calculation. So look what it says. For 500 kilowatts, the average price would be 11.5 cents. For 1,000, it would be 8.9 cents. And for 2,000, it would be 8.5 cents. These are what we call bundled prices. These include the TDSP charges, and the Stream Energy retail energy charges. Okay? These are bundled prices, okay? So when you're going out into the marketplace and you're gathering customers and you're competing with other people for customers and you're talking about prices, you have to know what you're comparing against. If a guy says, hey, I'm getting 8 cents on the kilowatt, okay, well, what does that mean? Does that mean his energy charge for his company is, instead of 5.3 cents there, does that mean his is 8 cents right there? Well, then we're beating them, hand over fist. And I have seen energy charges that the energy charge alone was 13 cents. I have seen energy charges that the energy charge alone was 8, 9, and 7 cents. Okay, we're at 5.3 cents. So you have to ask them, is that your energy charge or is that your bundled rate? Is that all charges included? Okay, let's say they say, well, that's all charges included. Okay, then you have to ask them, what is that based upon? Is that based upon a 1,000 kilowatts of usage? Is that a sample from a 2,000 kilowatts of usage? Okay, lots of people are getting really sneaky about quoting their bucket for 2,000 kilowatt hours because the prices go down because you have this base fee from Encore that makes prices cheaper as you go higher in usage, because now the base fees are spread out over more usage. And then obviously in the lower usage, you also have base fees that come in from most retail electric providers below 1,000 kilowatts of usage, okay? So that drives the average price per kilowatt up in the lower consumption ranges because you have, front-loaded base fees, okay? So that's our tutorial on pricing. You have to know what they're quoting. You have to know what you're comparing against. And so, like Sean, when you've asked me, what's our charge for electricity? I can say 5.3. I can say 11.5, 8.9, or 8.5. 11.5, 8.9, 8.5. Okay, it's not just a simple matter of saying this is what our price is. You have to know what portion of the price you're comparing. Are you comparing just the energy charge? Are you comparing a sample of 1,000 kilowatt usage? Are you comparing a sample of a 2,000 kilowatt usage month? Okay, what kind of comparison are you making? So if a guy comes to you and says, I'm paying 8 cents, you want to ask him, is that your energy charge? Is that your bundled rate? Is that all charges included? Bundled and all charges included are kind of interchangeable, common phrases that you hear. And ask, is that your 2,000 kilowatt hour bucket? Or is that a sample 1,000 kilowatt month? What does all that include? Okay, so I hope that helps clear up prices. I'm going to do another video on structure of our business, so hope this was useful.